At a time where literally everything is crumbling around Trump and the GOP, with this illegal and offensive war of choice against Iran, a country that never attacked the United States and had no plan of attacking the United States, Trump's numbers are in the toilet for literally everything. He's underwater. He's at like 35% approval rating. His numbers on the economy have been in the toilet for a while. It's not just the fact that this war is causing gas prices to go through the roof, cost of goods to go up, cost of, food to go up. Everything is going up. His job numbers are anemic. He's underwater on immigration, which used to be his strongest point. What is the GOP laser focused on right now during this election year of 2026? They are laser focused on passing a voter ID law, which effectively would disenfranchise millions of Americans, as Dick Durbin explains here.
I don't understand how it could disenfranchise millions of Americans, and maybe he would explain.
I'm happy to. Thank you for that question, because I think all of us should be aware of the fact of what is required by this act when it comes to registering to vote. You have to present identification, correct? But your driver's license, which most people use in the course of business every single day, is not acceptable. What is acceptable is a passport. 50% of Americans do not have a passport. Those who want to obtain it so they can vote will pay $186 and wait 3 or 4 weeks for that to happen. Secondly, you can use a birth certificate. But then a person who has changed their name as a result of a marriage or a hyphenated relationship has to find not only their birth certificate, but some correction of it to prove that they're eligible to register to vote. It's estimated that 9% of the voters in America do not have the identification required by this bill. It means ultimately that those people will not be voting. And I think that is the ultimate goal of this administration.
The reason that the GOP is doing this is because, one, they know that they cannot win based on the merits of their ideas, because literally everything that they're doing is extremely unpopular. But also they know that if voter turnout is low, Republicans tend to do better. And if voter turnout is high, Democrats tend to do better. So they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that voter turnout is very low. Now, based on what we know about voter fraud, which they always claim this is the reason why we have to do this, those numbers are extremely low in the United States. But Mike Lee, a Republican senator from Utah, decided to go on to Maria Bartiromo's show and explain the case of why it's so important for us to focus on this voter restriction bill at a time right now when everything else is falling apart. And I can't believe how badly he fumbled this softball interview. Here, take a look.
How big of an issue do you think this really is in terms of secure elections? For example, how many people do you estimate voted in 2020 and in 2024 that were not legal?
I don't know those numbers, but what I do believe is that there are at least tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands, by the time all the research is done, of people who have registered to vote in elections in one state or another, and regardless of how many of those have voted in the past, we have to remember that there are 30 million plus non-citizens in this country, 10 or 15 million of whom came into this country illegally between 2021 and 2024 alone.
Do you know the number of voter fraud cases in 2020 and 2024? No, I don't know, but I'm sure it's tens of thousands and maybe it's hundreds of thousands, and I'm sure there's millions of people who are registered who aren't citizens of this country. He's not telling you the truth because the truth would make them look absolutely ridiculous. But I am going to tell you the truth because I take the time to do a little bit of research, and I decided to go to the Heritage Foundation's website. And everybody knows Heritage Foundation, uber right-wing think tank, who came up with Project 2025. But if you go to Heritage, this is what you'll find. So here we have a map, as you can see, their election fraud map. The max number is 138 cases in any one given state. The darker the color of the state, the higher the voter fraud cases. So as you can see here, 123 cases here in my home state of North Carolina. That's no good. Illinois, 117. Minnesota, 138. That's all those Somalis, Texas, 113. Colorado, 24. Wyoming, 4. Montana, 2. California, 71. Arizona, 40. And like I said, if I just go through all of these right now, I wouldn't even get to a couple hundred cases of voter ID or voter fraud, excuse me. We're talking about a country of 340 million people where I don't even know how many people are registered to vote. But if you look at the actual numbers statistically of how many cases of voter fraud there are in the United States, it is statistically closer to 0% than it is to 1%. That's how little of an issue this is in the United States. But the Republicans have to create a problem and then try and solve that problem through this ridiculous bill that they don't even have the votes to pass in the Senate right now. Like, John Thune looks absolutely ridiculous because the Republicans know that they're like, we can't really do this because as Dick Durbin explains, this would disenfranchise millions of people. If you changed your name and you got married, then you have to go through all of these extra steps to try and prove that, like, I changed my last name because I'm married. You have to come up with a birth certificate. If you don't have a driver's license, or excuse me, if you don't have a passport, you have to go and get a passport, and passports are expensive, and they usually take 4 to 6 weeks to get to you. So all of this is just to make another hurdle for people to have to go through in order to be able to vote. And I want to sum up just how ridiculous this is with this clip I came across a couple of days ago, and I think it sort of summarizes everything perfectly.
Hello, I'm Republicans in Congress. Starting in December, every American male between 18 and 25 will be automatically registered for the draft. Hello, I'm a draft-eligible man. Do you need my birth certificate? No, we already know who you are. So you need my passport? No, how many 18-year-olds have passports? So I don't need a birth certificate or a passport for you to register me for war. But if the SAVE Act passes, I need at least one of those to register to vote?
They can automatically register you for the draft. They can automatically register you for that, but they cannot automatically register you to vote as a citizen when you turn 18 in this country. And I remember when I turned 18, I had to register for the draft, and I thought it was kind of ridiculous then. But if they wanted you to vote, and this goes for Democrats as well, because Democrats should be pushing for this anyway, they should do automatic voter registration, right? Or if there's some specific ID that they want to require you to have in order to be able to vote, they should issue every single person that's registered to vote, they should issue that ID for free. They shouldn't be trying to make you jump through 10 different hoops in order to cast a vote in this country. So again, I think it's hilarious that they are doubling and tripling and quadrupling down. Like, Trump literally said, I'm not going to do anything until you pass the SAVE Act. They know. They know that if they don't do something massive in order to try and make it as hard as possible for people to vote, they're going to get absolutely draxed in these midterms because everything that the GOP and Trump have been doing in the very short time they've been in power so far has been deeply, deeply unpopular and destructive. Guys, if you made it this far, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you are not already subbed, click that bell as well. That way, hopefully YouTube will notify you when I upload another one. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.